Hi everyone, it's Rani from Design Plus School. I hope you are excited about my tutorial because today we will build a Dark Neumorphism Tesla app from scratch in Figma as usual. So let's have a look on what we will build for this tutorial. So we have the home screen that we're going to build today on this first section together. I will talk about the technique to make a neumorphism button using two drop shadow. I will show you how to create this custom tab bar with the curve using the background blur and the neon light effect in the back. I will show you how to create this elevate button with a 3D effect using only the gradient. So on the next section, we will do the climate screen. I will show you how to create this progress bar using ellipse and R that you can custom and move with the Swift. I will show you this charging screen and I will show you how to create this battery with the neon light effect. So for today, on this first section, we will do only the home screen from scratch. So are you ready? Buckle your seatbelt and let's get started. What you will need for this tutorial. First, you will need the images. Go to unsplash.com that you can download the images for free. They have a lot of beautiful wallpaper, 3D render that you can use for your background, texture, any image that you want. For me, I need the car. I'm going to tap Tesla. I can choose Tesla Model 3 specifically. So you can just download. You will need the remove.bg. This is going to cut the background automatically for you in 2 seconds and it's free also. So after you download the image, you can just drag to this rectangle and it's going to cut for you automatically. It's very fast because I need my image PNG like this. I want to keep only the avatar and they cut automatically for me the background. So it's very helpful. Next, when you do the UI design, you always need the SF symbol. You can just go to the developer.apple.com and download the SF symbol. And next, you will need the UI kit from the community. I always took from Joy Banks. It's going to be very helpful for you if you're starting out. You only need to duplicate and don't forget to go to Asset and go to Theme Library and publish the theme library. And then you will be able to enable the iOS 15 UI kit for Figma. All right, we are ready to start. What is neumorphism? Neumorphism combines development of flat design and skeuomorphism. Neumorphism, or we can call soft UI, is a visual style that combines background, color, shape, gradient, highlight, and shadow to ensure graphic intent buttons and switches. All that allow achievement of soft extruded plastic look and almost 3D styling. Neumorphism is a relatively new design trend that's very popular right now. So how to make your design more interesting from the flat design to neumorphism design. So let's talk about the technique for the press button and elevate button. How I used to make this beautiful neumorphism button effect using only two drop shadow with the light and dark shadow and press the button using only the inner shadow. The idea is that the light is bouncing off one side of the element which is attached of the background, causing the shadow on the other side, like this one. Before we get into the design, it's important to understand how neumorphism works. What you need to know. Normally, for example, for the light mode, to achieve its clean look, neumorphism also tends to use light pastel color for the background and element. The background and overlaying element which usually have very similar but slightly offset color. So for the light mode, it's all the same color that we only took from the background. So the buttons have the same color. For the fonts, for the text label is on the same color. It's similar a little bit, but very slightly offset color. Same thing for the dark mode. Let me give you an example. So let's create a new one. Begin with the raise button. So let's create a rectangle 200 by 96, corner radius 24, centered. Okay, what you need to know, we need to take the same color as the background. So take the dropper and take the same color. What you need to do is only add 2 drop shadow. If you want to make a press button, use inner shadow. So let's do with drop shadow first. We're going to start with the dark shadow. So for the X and Y value is going to be 10, 10. So for the blur is the double. So 10 plus 10 is 20. So to make the shadow blend well with the background, I normally use overlay. Now let's add another drop shadow, but this time it's going to be white. Instead of positive value, I will change for negative value. So negative 10 and negative 10. And the blur is double, so it's 20. So use overlay, and then that's it. So the rule is take the same color as the background. The number of the value position, it should be the same. And to make the blur very smooth, it should be double. So if you want to make less, for example, you could make less, -4, -4. So the blur should be double, so it's going to be 8. Same thing for this one. So +4, +4. So you have like default button and hover button. And now, if you want to make press button, you only need to change drop shadow for inner shadow. That's it. The only thing you need to do is change the drop shadow for inner shadow for both. There you go. Same thing for this one. The value is changed automatically for you. So this is how we make the neumorphism element. Okay, let's try with the light mode. Let's create another one. But this time I'm going to make a square. For example, 50 by 50. So the rule is take the same color as the background. But for the light mode, it's a little bit different. So add the first drop shadow. It's going to be 8, 8. So the blur should be double. So 16. And let me add the corner radius first. It's going to be 10. All right. Instead of overlay, I'm going to take the same color as the background and go down to the dark color a little bit to take the dark shadow. Now, let's add the light shadow. This time it's going to be white. So instead of +8, it's going to be -8 and -8. So for the blur is 16. So for the light mode, we don't really see the contrast. So what you need to do is only increase the opacity a little bit as you want. You can make like more or less. It depends. You need to know how to balance with the color. We can be like this, 70%. It's up to you. Now you can make a round. If you want to change for inner shadow, you can just change for inner shadow. And then that's it. So let's create another one. So let's create a press button. You only need to change for inner shadow. Inner shadow, that's it. More the button is big, more you play with the value position, right? So the rule is take the same color and play with the same position for X and Y. And the blur is the double of your value, like this one. So now you know how it works. Now let's create this home screen. Let's create the new one. So I'm going to add the arbor. So tap A for shortcut to add the arbor. So I'm going to take the iPhone 13. Let's bring together. For the corner radius, going to be 40. And the color, I'm going to add the linear gradient with 2 colors. So for the top, it's going to be this color. And for the bottom, it's going to be the dark gray. Now, let's add the basic component from the UI kit from the community in Figma. I already published on the theme library. So I can just go to the asset and you can see here. Make sure to enable on your theme library here, and then you will see all the UI kit. Okay, search for the status bar and home indicator. Let's take the home indicator, put at the bottom and center. We're going to activate the dark mode because the background is too dark. Let's add the status bar. I'm going to take from the iPhone 13 to fit with my screen. So let's put center and top. Take off the grid. I'm going to take off the note. I don't need that. And activate the dark mode like this. Next, I'm going to add the title. Let's type T for text. I'm going to name Tesla for my title. And I'm going to use the text style from the community. I'm going to choose bold title 1. There you go. And for the color style, it's going to be label color dark. It's all from the UI kit, the color system. Okay. Now I'm going to add the subtitle. I can just option and drag and change for 187 kilometers. I'm going to add the subtitle like this. This time is going to be bold body, and the color is going to be labeled color tertiary like this. And let's add the auto layout together. For the spacing, it's going to be 8. Now let's add the battery with SF symbol. Search for the battery. I'm going to take this one. So Command C, and you can go pass directly with the text. Command V. There you go. Now let's create this round elevated button using radial gradient and drop shadow to look like 3D effect. So let's create an ellipse. Press O, or you can go there. Take your ellipse, make it 50 by 50. Let's duplicate another ellipse and take the bottom ellipse. Put the red color just for now. So take the corner, scale. Key is for scale, so it's going to resize proportionally. So key, make the shape 62 by 62. Okay, let's put 62. When I lock the constraint, proportion is going to be the same value. Now let's center together. Select the two ellipses and group together. Add the frame by doing Option Command G to add the frame. Normally, I would take the same color as the background, where I took those colors. So let's add the radial gradient on the fill palette. Take radial. Normally, I took the same color as the background. Do the same thing for the bottom color. So the first color, I just need to go up a little bit to make a little bit more lighter, and the bottom more darker. I already prepared my color, so I will take the same to make sure that it's the same thing as this first button. All right. Now let's add the stroke. For the outline, it's going to be 1.5, and it's going to be center. And add the linear gradient. So the top is going to be black, 45%. And the bottom is going to be white. Increase the opacity at 100 and add the blending mode to overlay. So let's copy property and pass property on the bottom ellipse. But this time, take off this flow, add the layer blur at 20, and let's add drop shadow. For the value is going to be 1010, and the blur is going to be 20. And add overlay again to blend with the background. But for the main ellipse, I'm going to decrease the opacity at 50, like this. It should look the same, right? So let's add the user icon on this button. Go to the SF symbol, search for the human, and I'm going to take this one, person.fill. So click Command C for copy and go back to pass the symbol, you need to text. So Command V. Now let's center a little bit. I'm going to add the text style, and I'm going to put bold title 2. And for the colors, it's going to be label color territory, like this. Let's play a little bit to contrast well with the background. Let's make something like this. So it's look like an elevated button with a 3D look. Okay, let's name this title. And this one is going to be profile. So let's add the auto layout on the profile and the title together. So Shift A for the shortcut to add the auto layout. Shift A, so the auto layout is added. Now put center. So for the alignment and padding is center, and for the left spacing is going to be 30, and the right spacing is going to be 30 as well. Let's center it, and then that's it. So the title and the profile is done. Now it's time to add the PNG image. So let's do it. Let's go take the image on unsplash.com. I need a Tesla image. So you can just type Tesla or Tesla Model 3, depend on which model you want. So I'm going to take this one, okay? So you can just download and then go to the remove.bg. It's going to remove the background automatically for you. For example, it's going to remove all the background and keep only the front, the main image for you. It will keep only the avatar. So make sure the image is high quality. So let's go there and drag the image directly to the rectangle. Boom. That's it. It takes only 1 second. We don't see anything, only the card. And then just download the image. But I will download on HD. Yeah, you can sign up for free, or you could just copy image and go paste on your Figma. You can just drop and drag right there. Let's zoom in a little bit. You can resize with the key for scale. Let me resize a little bit, maybe like this. And you can crop the image if it's too big. So there you go. Let's center a little bit. There you go. The image PNG is done. Now let's create this button with the icon using auto layout with 2 drop shadow, the light in the top left and the dark in the top bottom right. So let's do that. At the beginning, I imitated the real Tesla app, and then I transformed into the custom neumorphism style. This is what we're going to do. So let's start. Let's add the icon. So go to SS symbol. I'm going to search for lock. So Command C, Command V to paste. Let's add the frame. So Option Command G. The frames is always 44. And let's center the lock icon. It's not centered yet. Okay. So I'm going to duplicate, or you can just Option and drag. So add the auto layout. Shift 8. Make center. So we're going to duplicate more. Okay, just for now. And then I will change for the icon later. Okay. So the second icon like a fan. So let's go back. Pass. And this third icon, I think it's nature. Yeah. So pass. This icon, I customize myself. It's very easy. You only need to copy from the original, make a shape, and you subtract the round tire. Let's create manually this icon, because on SF symbol, they don't have the Tesla icon. So you can do your own research. You can go to the community, but for me, I can create manually by myself by using the pen. That's it. So take the pen or P just redraw the outline like this to make a vector network. And we're going to play with the corner radius after. And I don't want to broke my line. I want to come here. You only need to press on escape on your keyboard. There you go. And come back to this point. And I will go there. When you finish, click on done. So your vector network is done. Next step, we're going to put red for now. The outline stroke is 2. Okay, it's fine. Okay, I want to make a Bezier curve, a nice curve. So let's activate the Bezier handle. So press enter on your keyboard, or you can go to edit object here. Just at the middle point here, click and bring at the top a little bit. Then play with the corner radius, or you can activate with the bend tool here. Click on this point and then make a nice mirror curve for you. And for the corner here is already round, so I don't need to do anything else. So this one, I need to make round as well. So go back with the pen, click on escape because the connection is going to start from here, but I don't want that. So escape, come here and click. Bring this point at the top a little bit. I'm going to activate the Bezier handles. There you go. So we have the Bezier handle that you can adjust manually. So it makes a nice curve for me already. Next, I'm going to create this ellipse. Press O. I'm going to add the stroke. And it's going to be 2 for the outline. Okay, now I'm going to subtract. Okay, hide the stroke for now. You have to duplicate this ellipse first and hide for now, okay? Just hide the main ellipse first. We're going to select this ellipse and this vector network together and go to the Boolean group, subtract. So we're going to select the 2 layers. Before we subtract, make sure to duplicate this ellipse first, because once you subtract together, you will lose this shape, okay? So duplicate and hide for now. So select the ellipse at the vector network and go to the Boolean group, subtract selection. So there you go. And open the ellipse that you hide before. Okay, for the ellipse, take off the fill color and let's fix this point first. Enter. You can play a little bit. There you go. And you can play with the handle to make a nice curve. Okay, I think it's fine. Now let's union together. Okay, let me change this color for this ellipse. So now select all of the layer and unions selection. So it make one shape. So my icon is done. Let's bring on my design. There you go. And of course, we're going to change the color. Let's put everything label color dark secondary for every icon. Now we're going to create the frame. We're going to add the color on the frame. Let's center. So for the top padding, it's going to be 20 and the bottom 20 and the left and right is going to be 30. Let's center. Okay, something is hiding here. Okay, let me bring this here. So let's add the frame for this one. The frame is going to be 44 by 44. Let's center and name your icon. This one's going to be lock, climate, chart, trunk. Menu control. Let's center it again. So for now, I'm going to put the spacing at 30. Let's center a little bit. So the spacing, it's going to be 31. And I'm going to set a space between. For the width, I can make 30 to have the spacing consistent with the left and right side. Okay, let's add the color. Take the same color as the background. Select the corner radius at 50. Let's add 2 drop shadow on this frame. we're going to add the dark drop shadow at the bottom and the light shadow at the top left. Let's begin with the dark shadow. So go to on effect. So for the position vary, it's going to be 10 and 10 for the Y position. So 10 plus 10 for the blur is going to be 20. And let's add the same thing, but with white color this time. Instead of positive, it's going to be negative 10 and negative 10. So the blur is going to be 20 as well. To blend well with the background, you can use blending mode with overlay. And it's blend very well. Or you can do manually. If you do manually, you should play with the opacity. Decrease a little bit like that. So you have two ways how to make a nice color. So my menu control is done. You can add the vibrant color, everyone. When it's dark mode, you should use the same vibrant color on everywhere, like this one. I use blue everywhere. It should be consistent. When you create the Neumorphism app, you should have always the same color for the background, the same button with the same vibrant gradient or color, like this, to make your app more clean, more nice. So go back. So next, we're going to create this table row. So we're going to start with the text. So press T for text. We're going to write climate and we're going to change the color after. So for the subtitle, I can just copy paste to make it faster. There you go. So for the climate, it's going to be bold title 20. And for the color, it's going to be label color dark secondary. So let's add auto layout on the text. The constraint is fixed. Now let's add the fun icon on SF symbol, but I am going to copy directly from this one. So let's tap text and copy paste. So let's add the auto layout for both. But before, let's add the frame for this icon first. Option Command G and the frame is add. Always make 44 by 44 to be consistent everywhere. So when you change the icon, they're not gonna move if they are the same size everywhere. So let's add auto layout. Shift A, put center for the alignment, and for the spacing, it's going to be 10. Now let's add the right arrow on the right side. Just going to duplicate this one and going to copy this icon. I'm going to paste over there. I'm going to name right arrow. So let's add everything together. We're going to add the auto layout and make it center. Okay, there you go. So let's add the padding manually. So for the top padding and the bottom padding, it's going to be 20. And for the left and right padding, it's going to be 30. Okay, let's duplicate and let's add the auto layout first. Okay, let's duplicate 4 times. Okay, all we need to do is change the icon and the text, right? The first is going to be control. Paste for this one, we're going to hide because we don't need that. So it's aligned for me automatically. And for this icon, this one going to be the card. This one is already the same. So next, let's copy this one. Okay, let's copy, paste. For this one is security. Okay, let me take off the home indicator because I cannot write. There you go. Okay, let's add the color. I'm going to add the fill color 45% and corner radius 40. Let's add the blending mode with overlay. I'm going to add a stroke with linear, and the color for the top is going to be white and the bottom black. And of course, I'm going to add overlay again to blend with the background. So let's set third and let's make left and right. We can change manually. There you go. Let's go up a little bit. Okay, let's add the home indicator and the tab bar. It should be on the bottom of the tab bar, by the way. On my prototype, I use vertical scroll. So I can put it down a little bit like that. So there you go. My table row is done. Okay, let's create this custom tab bar with the curve using background blur and the light with neon effect at the back and the ellipse using background blur as well. And we will complete with the icon. So let's do it. Let's make a rectangle. So press R, or you can take the shape from here, rectangle or R. Let's make 390 by 78. Center, bottom, press enter. We're going to add more point. We already have 1 point, so select. When you move, the point will appear. Just select and add them. I want to add this one too. For the middle point, let's bring at the bottom a little bit. And for this point, let's bring at the left side a little bit. You can use the ruler to help you. So let's make 25. Okay. So for this left point, go at the left a little bit like this. Same thing for the right point, go at the right a little bit. So select the corner at the left and the corner at the right at the same time. Command Shift the 2 point and go down a little bit like this. So select all the top point, and for the corner radius going to be 42 degree, and for the middle it's going to be 45 degree. Okay, yes, I think I'm fine with that. I'm gonna take up the ruler. Now what you need is take an ellipse. So press O, make 68 by 68, bring at the middle, center, and go down a little bit. You can do manually. So the rest, you only need to add the icon. Okay, let's add the color. I'm going to put dark, 45% of opacity. I'm going to add the background blur. For the blur is going to be 40. And I'm going to add an inner shadow. Going to put white, decrease a little bit the blur. It's going to be 1. And for the opacity, I will say 15, like that. Now let's add the icon. Let's go to the SF symbol. I will need this symbol for the charge icon. Let's pass here. Don't forget to type T and Command V to pass. Let's add the frame. So Option Command G. So I add the frame. For the size will be 44 by 44. Now let's center the icon. So the icon is inside of the frame. So let's duplicate and let's add the auto layout together. So I'm going to add 5 in total. Okay, this one I'm going to hide to put this space. And then we're going to change the icon. Let's put a spacing a little bit. Okay, now we're going to add the real icon. I will need the location, the user, and this icon with the Tesla I took from Shape SO. Okay, let me start with the easy icon first. Let's go back. So we need the human. Command C, paste. I will need the location. So you can type location. There we go. Paste. Next, I'm going to get this icon from shape.so. I'm going to search the transportation and I'm going to search for Tesla. So let's take this one. So download in SVG. Let's bring right there. Okay, let's center. I'm going to add my custom color. I'm going to put this one and let's hide the preview icon. So this is my home screen. So the first icon should have the vibrant color. When I change the page, so the second icon should be vibrant, right? Okay, now let's add the neon light effect at the back. You can create an ellipse, 30 by 30. Try to center. If you're not sure, you can decrease the opacity. Okay, something like this. Now let's put on the back of the rectangle. So it should be at the back. And now the color, I'm going to set the blue. So you can see the neon light effect is at the back. We can see the light effect. And by the way, the home indicator should be at the top. There you go. Okay, now let's add the background blur on this ellipse. So it's going to be white for this color. It's going to be 30%. I'm going to add a stroke, and the stroke is going to be linear. And for the top color, it's going to be white, and the opacity at 60%, and the bottom is going to be black and 0%, like this. Now let's add the background blur. Let's say the blur is going to be 20. We're going to add the plus icon. Let's search for plus. I'm going to take this one. So Command C, T for text, and Command V for pass. Okay, before we center, we should select together. Option Command G to add a frame. So now I can center that. I can make it bigger. Let's put large title of 34. And for the color, it's going to be the same as this one. So there you go. And select everything together. This one is going to be plus icon, and this one is going to be icon tab bar. Let's select everything together and then add a frame. Option Command G, and we're going to name tab bar. My tab bar is now done. But let's change the color a little bit. For all of this icon, it should be label color secondary, and this one is primary. For the outline, it's going to be 2 because it's too skinny. So select all of those shape and put it 2. There we go. So it's look the same now. All right. So for the home screen is done. You are able to know how to create the button to make a neumorphism style using drop shadow and inner shadow. You are able to make this custom bar with the curve, and you are able to know how to cut the background with the remove.bg to make a PNG image. So for the next section, we will do the climate screen, and I will show you how to create this beautiful battery with the neon light effect. So stay tuned for the next section because we have a lot of things interesting to create together. So see you on the next section. Bye guys.